Time for a project update in the ambulance. So let's check it out. So we want to put a bed across the back from this metal box, but there was not a metal box on the left-hand side, so I had to build that up. It's also going to fold because the box is a little short. It's 12 feet. So I'm going to work with what I got. The other thing is I want to keep as much outside space and storage space as possible, keep the garage uncluttered. Had to take that cabinet out. So we're going to span between here and here to put the bed, but we want to use as much original materials as we can because this is all just going to be covered up again later. We want it super strong because it's going to have to hold the bed on a slide, a 500-pound drawer slide, and a cantilever. So rather than keeping stuff back here, putting batteries back here, I'm going to build a custom tray in here that's metal lined with materials we already had from taking stuff out of the build. So let's see how bad I can screw this up. Outside, I moved the 115 volt input to this side where it's going to go next to the brains of the operation. You can see tucked everything up high, trying to maintain some outside storage space still. We got the 120 volt input breaker. It's a GFI breaker as well. Next you have the solar breakers. Haven't added the solar panels yet, but that's coming. Then I got two 55 amp DC to DC chargers from Renogy. These also have MMPT solar input, so this will charge off both the battery alternator and the solar panels when they're done. Added a couple of 60 amp breakers here as recommended for protection. On this side, I've got a 70 amp breaker running to the 12 volt circuit panel that's yet to be installed. A 250 amp breaker for the Renogy inverter. And this is the bus bar going to the batteries. Batteries are all tucked up nicely here. About 800 amp hours of lithium. You can see the box in there. I kept it all metal, so it's very strong for the bed to mount and also add some fire protection. Tucked in the right hand side, there is a main on and off kill switch here for the battery bank as well. Next on this side, we have the Renogy 3000 watt inverter charger. This will charge the batteries from being plugged in to shore power as well. But the nice thing is, again, this is tucked up out of the way, so there's going to be still a lot of room to store stuff in this outside spot. It's got some ventilation here. If I can add a fan later if it needs it. All right, let's see how we built all this stuff. Okay, this is directly after taking out the corner box, metal box. It wasn't that hard. I had to level everything out, but this will give you an idea of how solid everything's going to be underneath it. Again, using all reused or recycled materials from the build. Came up with a bottom tray. The sides for it, again, are going to be bolted directly to all metal so that we can maintain as much strength in there as possible for the bed mount. Is it square? I can pretend it is. Okay, now we're building the sides out and also custom cutting the first layer of the top, which is going to be some used aluminum diamond plate we have there. Got to get everything lined up here and get it ready to bolt on. It's going to be bolted on with rib nuts, so the top will be removable without having to go underneath and undo bolts. Inside, I used, again, reused all the aluminum angle to screw everything together and use some of the plastic trays that came out of the existing cabinets so we can build out the battery box. Both strong and wanted to be able to absorb some shock. So we're also adding trays here, individual trays for the batteries so they won't vibrate around. When it's all done, I'll add some foam blocks on top of the batteries before I put the lid on so I can keep them from bouncing up as well. Time for a quick dry fit on the batteries to make sure they're all going to fit in there just snug. Just like that. One disadvantage is there's only going to be able to access the batteries from one side of this once it's all bolted together. but should be enough room to slide them in and out if needed. Next up, I'm using some construction adhesive on the back of that aluminum plate to add some wood to it. So the top of it will be wood, and the bottom side of this top to this battery storage will be that aluminum diamond plate. So I just put some squiggly stuff on there, put some glue, line this up, and just use the white piece for the front because this is actually going to be visible outside the bed. Now we'll do a dry fit of the lid, and also we're going to drill all the way through the lid to the angle brackets that are attached to the metal base, and we're going to add those rib nuts. Again, rib nuts are really nice because they're basically blind-sided nuts. We can just bolt straight to these, and then it'll be nice and tight. That's what the tray looks like. There's that on and off switch I alluded to, everything coming up from the control center below. There's a vent in that side as well. Some batteries are going in. I am connecting them all to one of the batteries, and I did that so I have ease of access from the outside door if I need to disconnect anything. Then it's as simple as putting these bolts in through the top through those rib nuts, and that's it. Super solid.